Mel Albin. I'm the host and the founder of the Jazz Confusion
My
Power
name
Hour.
is Dion Parson, and I'm honored to share my passion of music with you, our listening audience, through my cultural heritage.
Things can change for you too. If you want to be brand new, that is absolutely possible.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Mel Albin. I'm your host, and this is the Jazz Confusion Power Hour. For those of you that are new to the radio show, let me tell you a little bit about it. The radio show is really designed so that each of you gets to know the artist and the music that you really love. And we have some of the best artists in jazz crossover, and R&B. To date, we've had over 150 artists, and they include artists such as Eric Robeson, Mesa, Annie Lennox, Billy Ocean, Eric Burden, late Bobby Caldwell, Blake Aaron, Kiko Matsui, Raheem Devon, Dwelle, Hill Street Soul, Pieces of a Dream, Kelly Finnegan, Bob James, Selena Johnson, Dion Parson, Alex Harris, Brian Culbertson, Jeff Bradshaw, Jay Brown, Mickey Howard, Mavis Swanpool. I could go on and on. We've had over 150. And the purpose of the Power Hour is really to introduce you to the artists, both as everyday people, but also as professionals. A lot of people think that a vocalist, for example, just gets up on stage and sings. It's not that easy. It takes years of dedicated work, and it takes amazing talent. So yeah, the show is designed so you get to know them, behind the mind, but also upfront and personal as real people. And then you understand the music that you love so much from a different perspective. The Source Radio Network that carries the Power Hour is a non-commercial. It's also a 501c3. It is a not-for-profit company, and we depend quite a bit on sponsorships and also donations. And also a lot of the artists that we have on the show contribute too because we support each other. Our mission is to keep jazz alive and R&B alive. It's been kind of segued on the radio waves because of urban music. And for 24/7, we give R&B and jazz a life. So tune in each week and watch the show with us. I'm sure you'll enjoy the special guests we have. And this week's no exception. Our special guest this week possesses a really sultry, sensuous voice. She has electric dance moves. She produces her own music, and she's a songwriter. And she has the ability to deliver breathtaking performances. And she has a really feisty personality that I can attest to. These attributes were immediately recognized by many leading contemporary artists. So she has appeared on stage with those who's a who's who in R&B. And jazz. They include Justin Timberlake, Pharrell Williams, Duran Duran, Nicki Minaj, John Legend, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, Ciara, Rihanna, Camilla Cabello, Chaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, EnVogue. That's just to name a few. She works in three main genres: R&B, jazz combination, and soul and pop. Now she just signed recently to Inversion Records. In 2022, her single Believe hit number 28 on the Smooth Jazz Airplay Billboard chart. While in her sophomore year, her single slated on March 2024 for new release. Her current single, Smooth Soul, is a heavy radio rotation. We play it constantly on the Source Network. You can hear it every day. And she went to number 14 on the Billboard, followed by her recent February hit release, Almost. We're going to play a lot of her music tonight and get you to know her really well. So please welcome to the Jazz Confusion Power Hour our guest this week, Erin Stevenson.
Yay!
Hey, Erin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mel?
I'm doing great. I gave everybody the quickie on who you are.
Yeah, I heard it.
Good. Did I get anything wrong, or was it all right?
Oh, no, you did great. You did better than what I would do. I'm the worst. myself. So great job. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to start off each week when I have an artist on, so all the fans and listeners can find out what's cooking in 2024. What do you have going on? New recordings, releases, concerts? Tell everybody.
Cool. So the new album comes out next week. Not next Friday, July 26th. So if anything, and anyone who's been following me knows that this album has been cooking for a long while. I literally had this album done about 3 or 4 years ago.
I think Erin is temporarily locked up. Okay. Let's see if she unfreezes. If not, I'm going to play the first song, and then I'll have Erin come back in. All right. Our first song that we're going to play tonight, and I think you're going to love her music. The first song is called "Need Your Love," "Need Your Lovin'," and Erin will tell you about it as soon as she comes back. But we're going to play "Need Your Lovin'" now. Okay. So everybody, pay attention, and here goes "Need Your Lovin'."
Material
You're back.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, dear.
Yay. Okay. So really quick to everyone who's listening and watching, I am in a hotel room on hotel Wi-Fi. So if anything happens, it literally just logged me off the Wi-Fi. But if it does knock me off again, I will be back on. So don't leave. Come right back. We have lots to talk about. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. I had to jump ahead and play your newest hit, right? That's the
Yeah.
one coming out next Friday, correct?
Out next Friday.
So we are the first to play it.
Yes, you
So,
are.
so everybody heard it. You have over 80,000 people listening in already.
Wow.
So they all want to hear your music, and they just heard. Is it called "I Need Your Love"?
Yeah, so the name of the album is called Cover Girl Uncovered. So what I did was that's a remake of Tina Marie. No one should ever try Tina Marie, but I did it. And I produced it and all that
Really?
stuff. So I did the first couple of songs on the album are songs that I wish were my own songs, or songs that I wish I had written, that I absolutely stand behind. But I produced them and how I would do them. And then the next half of songs are called Uncovered, which are all of my original songs that I wrote as well. So
Well, I got to talk to you about this song for a number of reasons.
I'm ready.
First of all, who's your arranger? Who does the arrangement? You do. I
Yeah.
have to tell you, this thing, to me, the vibe is classic Michael Jackson.
I'm never gonna say, listen. So if you want to know one of my biggest influences,
Go ahead.
I can't say top which one he is, but Michael is the love of my life. I am the crazy stalker, fanatic for Michael Jackson. He's the only man that I knew I would have to share with the world because we're married in my mind, and he's waiting for me in heaven. So I'm not ready to go to heaven yet, but he's waiting for me. So
There's no rush. There's no rush. He's not going anywhere.
I give that compliment. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the arrangement is absolutely spectacular. It did remind me of classic Michael Jackson, and your voice is excellent. And the thing I love about your music, and this really has that vibe. This is classic R&B. It's not neo soul. It's not. It's classic R&B, and
Yeah.
people love it. They want to hear it, and they can't find it.
I
You know? Yeah.
It's something that I mean, I'm under the genre of smooth jazz, but on albums you can do whatever I don't want to say whatever you want to do because I'll clarify that later, but you can branch out a little bit from the radio singles, and that's one of the songs on the album that shows a bit more also of my heart and my energy, aside from the smooth jazz and that I could do, but I am a classic R&B girl all day, through and through, and I'm staying true to it, honey.
Yeah, Erin, I've followed you for quite a while now, and one of the reason I wanted to have you on my show so badly, smooth jazz
Mhm.
is a problem for me because the smooth part is the problem.
Mhm.
Because smooth and jazz do not mesh. Jazz is improvisational. Jazz is dance. Jazz. So when smooth jazz came along, I'm trying to figure out. Well, I could see it has R&B elements, has some rock elements, some funk elements, and even has occasionally a jazz element.
Mhm.
But what I love about your music, and this is why I wanted to have you on the show, you bring a pop edge to smooth jazz, and
Yeah.
I have all the artists. I had Paul Brown on,
Yeah.
last week, and Paul is a funk guy. He does a lot of funk. I've
Mhm.
had, the week before I had somebody on that does a lot of blues with jazz, and I try to bring on people because smooth jazz just covers up some of the interesting elements that can be added to jazz that
Absolutely.
you represent. So I don't want to keep talking. I want you to talk, but I'm just so in love with this song. It's wonderful. It's a
No,
great song.
if I can, I sincerely appreciate that because I mean, we got a lot to talk about. But what I will say about it, I started branding myself as smooth soul because it's because I'm not all the way jazz and I'm not all the way soul. I mean, I'm all soul and let me make sure I'm all soul, but I'm not all the way smooth jazz.
Right.
And that's because if I can say it, listen, I'm a very honest person. I feel like a lot of artists in the genre have gotten really lazy. Even with the production and the performances, because I'm older than what I look. So I remember when smooth jazz really took off back in the early 80s. And when it was really like, I was reading a post yesterday, what's his name? Herb Alpert, like those songs, smooth jazz came about because instrumentalists wanted to play pop music and R&B music, so they would make their instruments be they would do cover songs of R&B hits, of pop hits, and they would make it still funky. They would make it where you wanted to dance to it. But I refuse to get lost in the sauce. Let me just say that I refuse.
No,
I'm too energetic for it, anyways.
you know,
And it's been tough. It's been tough with the smooth jazz genre
it
accepting,
is.
but honey, I'm kicking and clawing and screaming and doing whatever I want to do. And may the chips fall where they may. So,
What you're talking about is so true. In the early '80s, one of I'm friends with Curtis Harmon from Pieces of a Dream, and
yeah.
and Pieces was funky when they came on with smooth jazz. They were funky, and
Mhm.
and Grover Washington Jr. took those two cats, both Curtis, and the keyboardist, and when they were in high school, they went on the road because they were already doing funk smooth jazz. So, I understand what you're saying, and it started out differently, but now it's gotten kind of repetitious.
Yeah, it's every song
Yeah,
sounds the same,
yeah,
but there's a new breed coming through, a new
yeah.
a new class that wants to graduate, and I pray that I'm in that class. But I have some amazing friends that I've met along the way who are really working hard to keep smooth jazz alive and the energy of it, and elevate it a little bit to where it doesn't sound so redundant. And there's a couple of good ones on the move right now that might surprise you just because they want to keep honor it by all means, honor smooth jazz, but just to keep it with the times and to elevate it a little bit.
Absolutely. I want to go back a little bit because you're so diverse. I want to go back to your early days in Houston. You
Yeah.
know, was there music in your household? I mean, how did you come to want to do music?
So I'm the only one who pursued music, but my entire family is musical. I mean, my mom played piano for the church, and she also used to sing a lot. My brother is the one who one of my brothers, Demond, he's the one who taught me how to write. He would beatbox and he played cello and although it's all over. So my family would get together in Louisiana. I'm from Texas, from Houston, Texas, but the Louisiana side of my family, we would all get together at my grandmother's house on the porch with crawfish and fried catfish and anything they could find that they could kill and cook. We were eating, okay? And
Bed
I was a
bugs.
yeah, you know how that goes. And
Yeah.
so I would always joke around. And one of my uncles, his name's Uncle Woodrow. Everybody, I'm a country girl, okay? My Uncle Woodrow. He was like, "You don't be still and sing for real. I'm gonna put my feet on you." Now, my Uncle Woodrow was a military vet, so his feet looked like they had been in the war. And I was terrified of his feet. But I would always be joking around and dancing and singing old blues songs that I should not be singing, but I knew him. I could hear him and pick him up. And he was like, he saw something in me. I don't know what he saw, but he did. And he said, if you don't be still, I'm gonna put my feet on you. Sing for real. And he terrified me. And I began to sing Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All. And my entire family stopped all the dominoes. They stopped all the card games, the sibling fights, because my grandmother had 9 kids. So they quit cussing and fussing at each other, and everything just stopped. And I knew from that moment that I was going to sing. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I got to do this some kind of way, somehow. And my uncle Woodrow took his hat off and passed it around. And my family started putting money in a hat. And mind you, I'm about 6 years old. I don't know. I don't understand monetary value. I don't even, the only thing that I could understand was that whatever I did, it cost something. And I loved it. And if it could affect this, I got to do something with it. So I knew then at that very early age. And my
Really?
family sings and plays and just has a good time. I'm just the only one that pursued it. So they knew what I didn't know.
Well, I want to get to that because it's one thing to say singing's fun. Another thing to say singing's a business. So I want to get to that in a little while too. But we have a comment here from Ellis White, who is a smooth jazz artist. Ellis had a hit that was in the UK in smooth jazz, #1 for 54 weeks in a row.
Wow,
So
that's
Ellis is here
great.
saying hello and that he's glad you're on the show. And speaking about, here's my good friend Curtis who popped in, talking about Curtis Harmon and Pieces of a Dream. We're all kicking and screaming, trying to make it in this genre.
So everyone understands what I'm talking about then. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because
Curtis is the man. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
cool. Hi, Curtis and Ellis.
yeah.
Yeah.
And James Lloyd, who also plays with Curtis in Pieces of a Dream. And here's another comment from Ellis. Hey, Mel. All right. So we got people already commenting and tuning in. All right. So did you sing in high school or public school? Did you pursue it at all during your public school days?
You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
I'm a bit of a nerd. However, I call myself trying to be a bad girl, right? And this was in 5th grade. Was it 5th? Yeah, 5th grade. And they were skipping school to go play at the playground. But the class that I said I was going to try to be bad in was choir. I skipped my choir class, and my mama just had to laugh at me. And she was the disciplinary. My mother was the disciplinary in the household, but she had to laugh because out of all the singing that I would do around the house, that's the one class I tried to skip. So I like nuts. So I didn't sing a lot in choirs and stuff in high school. I danced. I was in the band. I was a flutist, a classically trained flutist at that.
Wow.
And a majorette. I went to all the other stuff. I was like, even in college, when I went to college, I danced. I was not in the choir. I don't know what's nuts. I even bypassed going to it's HSPVA, High School of the Performing and Visual Arts in Houston. Well, that's where a lot of people go who are immensely talented. And I got in and I was just like, I want to stay with my friends. I don't know. I always wanted to nourish my brain. And I felt like if God gave me a gift and I worked hard enough and, took care of it, he was going to bless that. So I always wanted to nourish my brain. I never did anything musical to hone it. Nuts. I don't even know music theory, but I know how to produce.
Wow.
I don't know.
You read, don't you?
I used to could read piano. I also took piano lessons when I was younger. I used to could read and play my flute and read and play. But you use it, you lose it. However, if I hear a song, I could pick it up in 2 seconds. I'm kind of known for it. Also with producing, even with my band, I can hum and tell them everything that I want. I can hear it could be a million things going on and I can hear if a note's not right. It's a weird, insane talent or gift that God has blessed me with these ears. I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure if I took the time to dive back into it, I could pick it back up. I could. And I can look at a scale or at sheet music, even for singers to read it. I can look at it and just know what's going on because I still know quarter notes and eighth notes and all that stuff. But to do it fluently, no. But it's something with my brain. I don't know. But I don't know.
When you went to Prairie View, you were a marketing major, right?
Right. I went to school for everything but music.
But music.
I went and got my degree in communications and also for marketing. And didn't do nothing. Well, and later on in life, I did do something with it when I felt like music wasn't going to pay the. No, I had a great career in music. Let me go back. So after Prairie View, have you ever seen the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So that movie made me want to work for a marketing firm. That kind of marketing firm, right? So I went and got my marketing degree as well as communications, but I've always been fascinated with, just for instance, my hair being red. What makes people, I don't know, why did they paint a stop sign red? It makes people pay attention to just little things that trigger the brain. I've always been fascinated by it. So I got my marketing degree and I graduated from college and I was like, I'm going to use my degree. I ended up selling Sparkletts water. And they told me it wasn't going to be door-to-door sales. I ended up becoming like top 50 or something in like 3 months, and then I quit. And then I started singing, sung full-time for a couple of years. But most of my musicians and entrepreneurs, no matter what business you're in, you understand this when you're like, I need a consistent paycheck. I need to know how I'm going to pay my bills, blah, 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 blah. I'm tired of waiting for the phone to ring to know how I'm going to eat tomorrow. So I went and got a job at NASA. And I worked there for about 3 years. And even that's a whole nut story in itself. And then after I left NASA, I have not looked back. I've been doing music full time ever since.
Our lives are very parallel. I could never do the same thing for more than 3 years. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But even for NASA, I loved my boss. I loved my consistent paycheck. I loved that consistent paycheck. I was missing.
I want to get to what happened at NASA in a minute, but Curtis Harmon again you said that movie Boomerang was on last night.
It never gets old, right?
Yeah.
Strange.
And here's another Curtis Harmon for you.
Yeah,
hey girl, good to see you.
I got to open for them. I think it was last year. Well, not open. It was a festival. I considered in my book, I opened Pieces of a Dream. So I'm honored.
Well, you apparently have a fan in Curtis.
That's cool. They were so nice to me. So nice to me.
Then James Lloyd, Curtis, the whole band, Tony Watson, David Dyson, they're great people. They're really lovely people. So, that makes it even better, except for being incredibly talented. So let's go on and let's talk about that NASA thing. You went from NASA to no NASA. How did that happen?
Well, so as I was starting to say, I was waking up every day, great life, but I was feeling like something was missing. Whatever God created me to do, I was not doing. No matter how good I was at what I was doing, I wasn't doing what I was created to do. And just that passion, I was waking up every day, just going through the motions, happy, but feeling empty still. That's a weird feeling to be happy, but empty. So everyone remembers this when America was going through this crisis of laying off. They were about to close the space program and people were losing their jobs every day, crying and coming in crying and begging for their jobs. And I was just like, who am I? I know I'm supposed to be somewhere else. So I walked into woke up one Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it was. And I walked into my boss's office and I took a CD with me. I don't know what made me say, Erin, take a CD with you. And I walked in and I said, hey, Mr. Bill, because my boss's name is Bill. Mr. Bill, fire me. And he said, are you crazy? I said, yes. And you know it. And he was like, when you walk into rooms, do clocks just start turning? I was like, yes. Because people were begging for their jobs. And I gave him my CD. I said, hey, listen to this. And if you think I'm terrible or you don't hear anything that's worth, I don't know, name it, I'll be back here tomorrow with bells on and giving it all that I got. But have a listen. He laid me off that night. The next day, I got a call from Janet Jackson saying, are you ready to go on the road? And I mean the very next day. Are you ready to go on the road? I was like, yeah, because I don't got no job. So yeah, let's go. Somebody take me. But that's a very true story. And Mr. Bill and I are still friends to this day. He was at my album release party in Houston 2 weeks ago. And I made him stand up because people think my story is a lie. They think it's a PR story, and it's not. It's the truth.
To me, walking in and saying, listen to this, and if you think it's no good, I'll be here tomorrow. Otherwise, toodaloo. That's
Yeah.
one thing. But having Janet Jackson call you the next day, I mean, that is a story for the century. Yeah.
And it's the truth. I mean, I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to step out. Don't be afraid to have that little bit of faith. Don't be, no one said it's going to be easy. No one said it's not going to require a lot of work and effort and sacrifice, but go for it, because the reward of waking up feeling fulfilled and happy is priceless, and money cannot equate to that. And God,
I have a question.
ask.
Was that a hard job when you worked with Janet?
No. You want to know
Really?
why?
Why?
Well, hell, okay, because I had to act like I didn't know everything when I went to go audition. I was a fan. So I knew I was an MTV kid. So I knew dance moves already. I knew everything. But it's funny because people who knew me as a kid would watch me do all the dances and knew that I knew all the Janet Jackson songs. So 80 years later, when I get the job to sing for Janet, it was kind of like, oh, wow. People, the people who knew me then and saw that happen, it was almost like it manifested some kind of way. But no, she's a workhorse for sure. Extremely professional, extremely sweet, one of the kindest people I've ever worked for and encountered in my life. I adore her. I love her. I was a fan then, and I'm a fan now, and she's not paying me to say any of this.
Yeah.
Every minute of working for her.
Yeah,
And I learned a lot from working for her.
there's a similar story of one of the artists I had on my show who was a Rayette with Ray Charles. That was her first job. She said it was the hardest job she ever had in her life. That he worked people. If you had to show up with 16 songs ready to go, or he doesn't want to talk to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the hardest one that I've worked for was Jennifer Lopez, and Justin Timberlake. But when I say Justin Timberlake, not because he was hard. Jennifer Lopez is hands down one of the hardest working people on the planet. And given the news, the way she's been in the news these past couple of weeks, I think the entire world gets it now. Like, go take a vacation, girl. But she works hard, hardest working. But Justin more so because his show is just excellent, and he and everyone up there, he wants to be a star. So you always want to bring your A game, and he has such a collection of songs, and the show is amazing. I've done 2 tours with Justin, so yeah, those would be the 2 hardest ones that I've ever done.
He's a great singer, but he's not too good behind the steering wheel lately.
I heard, but Justin still has my heart, though. I stand behind him. He's work, but amazing to me.
You work with some really great people. Well, look, I have one more question.
Something really funny about that.
Go ahead.
So it's about the behind the wheel thing. I didn't get to do this tour because I chose myself, because I did the promo tour and everything leading up to the full actual tour. And it's so funny because the morning that it all happened, my phone's blowing up from photos from CNN and ESPN and any other end with me next to him like this. I'm like, no, this is not how I want to be remembered with Justin Timberlake. It's like, Justin DUI, and I'm like this. Right on the side of him. Where did they get these? Like, oh, okay, so go ahead, I'm ready.
It's great. Okay, here's my next one for you. After leaving NASA and you went on the road with Janet, when did you realize that you could write your own songs and have your own career as a vocalist, not just as a background singer?
Great question. As I mentioned earlier, my brother taught me how to write. So I'm gonna come back to that in 2 seconds. I never set out to be a background singer. I never did. But I've always loved creating harmonies. I've always been a team player. So it came naturally. And I have to admit, and this is how I know someone else was in control of my life and not me. I may have known what I wanted to do, but there's somebody else in control of my life, because once I started, I never had to look back. Like I've been so blessed to work with a lot of amazing A-list kind of artists. And I call it the hamster wheel, because you know how hamsters get on the wheel
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
just
yeah.
having a ball, going in circles. That was me, you know. But my first song I ever wrote, it's cute, and I remember it to this day. It says, I'm a bunny. I'm as happy as can be. I'm a bunny. I love you as you can see. Well, I'm a bunny, a bunny. Would you be mine? That's the first song I ever wrote. So
How old were you? How old were you then?
he says, I don't know, but I remember it. I wanted to be a bunny and asked if you would be mine. So
That's great.
always knew I could write. But believe it or not, I am just now getting to a point to where I'm confident in all of my skills, where I'm just like, forget it. I'm going to use it. My producing, my songwriting, my vocally producing myself, forget it. Go full throttle. I'm just now getting there.
You know, Erin, this is always fascinating to me. I had Paul Brown on, I mentioned last week,
Mhm.
and and Paul doesn't consider himself. He didn't consider himself a really good guitarist. He's a great guitarist, but
He
he said only now, recently, do I think I'm proficient. You know, you have this moment like you have, where you just feel like, hey, I really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it partially came from COVID. COVID had a lot to do with it. But even though my first album came out in 2017, it was just like me having my first baby, you know, all over the place. We're going to find out, we're going to learn. Wang, okay. And then COVID happens, and it forced me to put a lot of things into perspective. And there's one thing to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I did it, thank God, because a lot of people don't see things through. So I was still proud of myself. However, I didn't go full throttle with it. I am now going full throttle with Erin Stevenson, the artist. That means all of my time, all of my effort, all of my finances. Not, oh, I'm gonna be gone for another 2 years to tour with somebody else, and I'll put a song out. No, I'm putting all the energy that I have behind this album. Um, and I blame COVID for it, but COVID was a blessing in disguise for me.
Yeah.
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 And, you know, it just got to a point where I had to step out on faith and do what I know I should have been doing a long time ago. Although I have no regrets. In the same breath, I'm going to say I have no regrets, because we possibly wouldn't be talking if it wasn't for everything that God set up for me prior to. With the career that I've had, it's opened doors and conversations that, who knows, maybe I wasn't ready to be a star.
Well, this is kind of what the next question I was going to ask you. You're kind of answering it in part. Yeah, I was going to ask you, when did you know that you really had the goods and you could do this on your own? So I guess you're answering that. It started around the pandemic.
Yeah, it started around the pandemic. Well, there's a song on my first album called Hangin', and it went to #1 in the UK, like on the UK soul charts. And it just happened. It was no promotion behind it, none of the above. And that's when I was like, you know what, girl? You know what? It's possible.
Yeah.
And somebody up there is looking out for you. Do it. All I have to do is go. If I start moving, if I be proactive about this thing, it just might happen. So call me crazy for going for the just might happen. And that's what I did.
Curtis has a comment for you. Sometimes it takes a minute to get acclimated to building your own ideas. Then things start to flow naturally.
Yeah. And that, like, even the
So
I need you.
I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's true. It took me a while to be able to write my own songs. So I was the other way. I have a plethora. I have thousands of songs written, but to put them out, that's the part that took me a while, and to just trust that they were good enough, or that anybody even wanted to hear what I had to say. I've had people. I'm going to be honest. I've had people say, no one wants to hear your thoughts. No one wants to hear your heart. Please sing songs about sex and dancing and shaking your. But I've had A&Rs and people tell me this, because you hear the songs that I want to sing, even
Yeah.
the Tina Marie. The lyrics to that aren't popular today, but I don't care, because I stand behind those lyrics. But when people would at one point in time in my career want to say to me, Erin, no one wants to hear anything that matters. People have told me that. So when I say I don't care, I don't. And it's working.
If nobody cares about what people have to say, Bob Dylan would never have been heard. You know? And Billy Joel once said that Bob Dylan has written more words than there are.
That's true, Bob. I mean, he is Bob Dylan, one of the greatest.
Yeah, but he didn't say things people wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to step out and be your own self and be your own person. Okay, we got to move because I want to play so much more of your music.
Okay.
Your first song that came out was number 5 on the Billboard charts in dance charts in 2006. Yeah, and then you had several songs that were in major films.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what was the title of the song that was your first time appearing on a recording? Remember what the song was the first time you appeared on a recording? What the song was?
Oh, wow.
Just curious.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
The first song that I heard my voice on a recording was with, they're now known as Destiny's Child. But back in the day, we were called Girls Tyme. And they had a song called Sunshine. Sunshine, you light up my way. The children of the world reach out to you. It never came out like massively because the band is, again, my brain has this insane memory. I don't know how I remember this. I was about 11 years old. But at that time, Beyonce and another lovely lady named Ashley Tamar were the only two who would record on the records. And just so happened this day, they said, Erin, come in the studio and sing these parts. So that was the first time I ever heard my voice on a record.
I was curious about that. That's a great story. Okay, now I want to move on and talk about another song. It's called Almost. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that song? Because I love it. I pick the songs I really love.
Well, good. That makes me happy. Well, this is all of my songs are from true stories. So let me start off by saying that Almost, an ex-boyfriend called me. And this is maybe last year, December, November-ish, somewhere in there. He calls me and I'm driving. And he says, hey, I'll make it short because I could talk. He says, I know. I'm like, how much time we got? But okay. So he says, I should have married you. I said, But he married the woman that came after me. And I knew he married the woman after me. Now, when I had him, I was the one paying. There's a line in my song that says, now she gets for free what I earned because I put in the time. I put in all the work, the grooming, maybe you do this or hey, you know how we do it with men. Not to say he was not like that. I cared enough and stuck it out. But she got the better version. I got the cheating version and all. She got the husband version, and now I was like, don't call. You know what? Hold on. I pulled over on the side of the road and I started writing Almost because I realized, and I knew we weren't going to make it. Let me make sure I say that. I knew he wasn't the one, but that doesn't mean I didn't feel some kind of way about it. We all stay in situations too long sometimes when just because you're hoping or you're invested. And that was me. And I realized at that moment that we all were someone's almost. You were someone's almost, or someone was your almost. But that doesn't mean, so I wrote a song about it. It says I'm a little bitter, but
they say almost doesn't count.
Almost doesn't count. 99 and a half won't do.
Right.
No.
Okay. Let's hear Almost, okay?
Okay.
That's a great story.
When we first met, you were my funny Valentine. Now you're a good communicator, lover.
Love it. Love that song.
True story.
Yeah, we have another comment for you,
Your voice
Jesse
is.
Brown. Your voice is so emotive. The way you spin words, stretching some out, your modulation, you got it all. You were a treasure.
Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for listening to Nuances. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he's, and that's one of the things, he's hitting on something that I love about the way you bend words, the way you interpret each word. That's what really makes a song. You
Yeah.
know, I've said this before on the show. Miles Davis once said, a note is just a marker. How long you stretch that note out, how loud you play
Yep.
that note, the timing, space between notes. That's what makes the artist, not the note itself.
Yeah.
And I think what Jesse's saying is, you just have a remarkable way of understanding a lyric.
I
So
appreciate that more than you know, because again, back to what we were just talking about, and Curtis and such, about learning to trust what's inside of you and your words and your writing and your just say it. Well, my mom used to tell me all the time when I was growing up, she was like, nobody can feel you if they don't understand what you're saying. So make sure you pronounce your words. Sing. If you don't mean it, don't sing it. That's what my mother used to tell me all the time. Even when I was doing talent shows and such, she'd be like, if you don't mean it, don't sing it. Find another song. And I thank her to this day for that, because music, as we all know, is the universal language. It speaks, it touches. And what's the point of doing it just for nothing? I mean, for the there's a lot I could say about that and go into a whole nother conversation about that. But I've always loved storytellers as songwriters. Those are the songs that lasted and stood the test of time, that touched people's hearts or resonated with them, not just something that to fill the radio waves. Like I never wanted to do
I,
it.
I get it
I don't
completely.
want.
Since Curtis has been here and probably he's still listening in, you've
Mhm.
toured with some legendary artists like Pieces of a Dream, and
Yeah.
you mentioned so many of the other artists that you've worked with, and they're very diverse. I'm curious about your preparation because they really are different genres and subgenres. So how do you do that? How do you prepare for these vast differences in music?
Well, it's the hardest part wasn't preparing for to sing with the other artists, because I literally can do almost not. I am not the greatest singer on the planet. I don't believe that about myself. I am only the best Erin Stevenson. Okay, so let me say that first of all. I would never be Whitney. I'll never be Patti LaBelle. People that I'll never be Tina Turner. Okay, but I could do almost anything with this voice. And it's respect. When I'm singing for people, I respect their music. I respect. It's not about me at that moment. It's about delivering their song, not showing what Erin Stevenson can do. So I try to tap into that. The hardest thing for me was finding out who Erin Stevenson was.
That's what I was getting at. That's where this was going.
It was so tough, because I can belt out songs. I can sing for Duran Duran and do 80s pop grunge, or do Janet Jackson where I'm whispering and I'm so, I can. Or I can give you some Tina Turner, what we want. Or I can give you some Bon Jovi if you want him too. But I literally had to do some sitting and praying and ask myself, who did I want to be remembered as? And not to you touched on it earlier, Mel, not to forget the business of music, not the music business. Don't forget the business of music.
Business of music.
How
Yeah.
did I want to sustain my career? How did I want to get on stage and sing every night? What kind of songs did I want to sing every night? Not just because I can sing, but that I wanted to deliver every night and for the rest of my career, because I'm going to be singing for the rest of my life. I've come to grips with it. I knew it at 5. I know it at 44. I'm going to be singing for the rest of my life. And that's what really made me. And can I tell you another cool story? They
Yeah,
gave
go
me
ahead.
Etta James. Etta James's husband.
Love her.
Love me some Etta James. My God. Her husband, who was very vital in her career, came to one of my shows. And this is some time ago after the first album, and I'm just singing on stage somewhere at a lovely place called Spaghettini in Seal Beach.
I know Spaghettinis, yeah.
Okay, so I was at
San
Spaghettini.
Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came there, and so I was just doing a show, not an Erin Stevenson the artist show, but I'm singing, and I'm so after the show he says to me, he says, "Hey, you can sing." But I kind of knew that before I came here, but I don't know who you are. And then he asked me a very important question, and this question is what took me on the trajectory of finding who I wanted to be as Erin Stevenson, the artist, not Erin Stevenson who can sing. And he said, "What was the first song you ever sung that you just took seriously, that touched your heart?" And you know what that song was? The story I told earlier. Whitney Houston's "The Greatest Love of All." And that's what I knew. And I had to stand there. I'm like, wait a minute. Because I used to sing old blues songs prior to that one. But what are blues songs? Stories. Blues songs are nothing
That's
but
right. That's
stories
right.
that touch people's hearts, or that somebody that went through and they got the blues. So, and then and that's what made me go down this trajectory of honing in on a clear path for the business of music, of the sound that I wanted to sing every night as Erin Stevenson. I wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to touch people's hearts, and I wanted to tell the truth. So that's how I got there.
Yeah, I mean that's really a great story, and the thing that I find really touching about the way you approach music, it really is personal
It
to
is.
you, and it's not a job, it's personal,
Mm-mm.
and that's what keeps an artist always looking to do something different and something better,
Yeah.
because it is personal, and you don't you don't want to just sit back and you know
Mm.
same old, and
Oh,
that's what makes artists prolific and makes them stretch themselves, and that's you understand that, and that's part of the journey.
yeah.
Um, so I'm curious too about another song of yours I want to play. Excuse me. It's "Smooth Soul," which I love. I'm just going to tell you that is one of the most sensuous songs I've ever heard anybody sing. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It
You
tends to
know,
be one of the fan favorites too. And it's done the best in my career so far. So,
it's a great song. I don't know if you know Mavis Swan Poole, um, but she has a song. It's called Experience. Are you experienced?
oh,
And yeah,
I,
and it's
I'm good right there.
you,
What
you gotta yeah you gotta hear that song. It reminds me of you. Mavis Swan Poole.
I'm
Yeah.
making a note
Are
right
you
now.
experienced?
I'm going to listen to it too.
Yeah.
But I'm still here. I'm still listening. I'm here. I
Yeah.
don't
But
want to forget
yeah. So, what's the backstory on Smooth Soul? Because it is you. This is your
that.
centerpiece.
If there is a song that defines who Erin Stevenson, the artist, is, it's Smooth Soul. And let me tell you how I
I
came up
knew that.
you, you nailed it on the head. That means I did something right. And I was being rebellious when I wrote this song because, again, back to the earlier part of this conversation about smooth jazz, I was told no one would say super bad. No one would say smooth soul and smooth jazz, blah, blah, blah. And this was when I was writing some other songs prior to Smooth Soul coming out. So again, me being rebellious, I said, you know what, Erin, forget it. I'm gonna take it. I'm let's just for once do what you want to do. For once, let's just try it and see. And so, as we're talking now, the end result, I produced that song. I co-produced it with a dear friend, David P. Stevens. But I wrote the music, I wrote the melodies, and I wrote all the lyrics because I was being rebellious when I wrote that song. So I said, for the smooth jazz, and let me make sure I clarify this and absolutely say this. I love smooth jazz. I love the golden era of smooth jazz. I am
Yes.
not anti smooth jazz. Smooth jazz is being so kind to me, and it's where I want to be. However, I'm never going to lose the soul of Erin, where I'm just, no, we're going to continue to push the envelopes. So I said, if anyone, they were like, well, Erin, you're too much for smooth jazz. I said, well, I'm going to sing about it. Who are you? We can't figure out who you are as an artist. Well, not vocals and smooth jazz. No. So I said, I'm going to write exactly what I am. Now, the story is twofold. As I said, I've branded myself as Smooth Soul. The song is Smooth Soul. Now, the other side of it is because of my personality and how vibrant it is, or that it can be, men would always get me wrong. People, women, men, anybody, they would always think that I wanted this shiny, flashy, standout guy who's throwing money everywhere and super rich. And that's more so because of the celebrities I could name. And, oh, you must want to be with a star. And no, I don't want any of it. I love smart men. I love nerdy men. I love quiet. In the song, I say, cool, calm, and positive with love to give. Quiet power. Quiet power. Quiet power makes me high. And it does. Not the loudest guy in the room. I like the guy that walks in the room, says nothing, but commands everything. That's what I'm attracted to. And so that's what Smooth Soul is. It's
Wonderful.
it's about the kind of guy, and I'm hooked. Once you get, oh Lord, yes. So the lyrics are very real about how I feel about the men and how I feel about music. Music has a hold on me. When I tried to run away from it, NASA, it said, wicked emotions, sweet surrender. That's me surrendering to music. So the lyrics are twofold, but they
Before we play Smooth Soul, I'm just curious. I haven't got to this yet. You mentioned you have a person you write with. Who's on your team? And do you have a band?
Oh, so I am. Don't take this the wrong way, because I don't believe anybody does anything alone. But I am my sole writer.
Okay.
Yeah, I am involved in every facet of my career, all over the place.
Wonderful.
My team consists of my husband. His name is Greg. A guy named Mario Pezzarino, and let me tell you who they are. And a guy named Jay. Jay was a Janet Jackson fan who saw that I was doing music and wanted to come on board to help with some social media things. And also my best friend, she does not this. You would totally see the difference when Carrie does this face. But Carrie is my makeup artist we've been friends since 7th grade. So she's really, and that's it. I do not have this massive, I literally have just a small team of people who believe in me. Now my band, their names are Christopher Thomas. I have to go down their names in the order that I see them on stage. Christopher Thomas on keys, Keita Matsuno on guitar. On the drums, his name is Ryan.
Keita Matsuno? I know who he is. Yeah.
Keita is, okay, well, I'm gonna come back to Keita, because did you see he's doing a show in Japan next week, because he's
great.
He's next level.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He's God, everyone please look up Kayta. It's spelled the same way it sounds. Keita. And he's a guitarist, but he's doing a show in Japan, and he did a 24-hour live stream last night where he stayed live for 24 hours playing his guitar. But support my friend. He's our friend Dale. He's absolutely.
I want to have him on the show too.
Should. He's so unique. His music and the music that he writes, it's so unique and mind-blowing and beautiful. So Keita Matsuno, and on the bass is Keith Eady. A lot of my career is also elevating, not just because the music on record is elevating, but because of the guys I have playing with me. They support me. They bring my visions to life. And they're just badass in their own rights, and they have great hearts. And I always say to anybody, I may be great, but they make me greater.
You know, it's really funny because I was involved with music management for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And I always used to tell the artist that I was working with, you will never be as good as the people around you. If the people around you aren't better than you, you got a problem.
That is the truth. But I learned that I often learn, there's a question that often comes up in interviews. What have you learned from working with all the celebrities that you worked for? That is one of the things that I've learned from them.
Yeah.
I look at the people that they have around them, the ones who keep
That's
certain
it.
people around them,
Yeah.
the ones who keep changing out all the time and where their careers are versus. And so I have a small team of people who have my best interest at heart. I don't have Babyface or Quincy Jones, but I got they are my Babyface and my Quincy Jones and my David Fosters,
Yeah.
and they believe in me. And to me, that's number one.
Yeah.
That's number one. They believe in me, and I believe in them. And we're small but mighty. That's it.
Wonderful. Well, this is big. This is wonderful. We're going to be running overtime, and I don't care if you don't care.
I don't care at all. Let's talk, Mel. We got lots
Good.
to say.
Okay, let's play Smooth Soul now for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
I'm lost in the groove of you.
Oh wow, I love it. That is so hot.
Oh my. So, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I got two comments and two questions. First of
Great.
all, the chorus is spectacular. It's memorable. You know, I forgot which artist said it, but he said, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus." Yeah. And yeah, and it's perfect. Also, Marion Meadows. How did that happen?
That's what I was about to say.
Go
So,
ahead.
oh man, yeah. First of all, y'all, I get really shy watching and listening to myself. I'm the epitome of a Gemini. I'm extremely bold or extremely shy.
I'm a
But
Gemini too.
wait, no. But like, oh yes, no. So I haven't watched myself in my video in a long time. So that's nuts. Okay. It made me shy watching it. Like, uh-oh. Okay. Marion Meadows. So I had Marion on another song that I had written called Say Something. Totally different. And it was a song that the song was already done. And I said, here we go, trying to make it smooth jazz. I said, let's put a saxophone on it. And so I got Marion Meadows. But after he sent up his parts, and Marion, first of all, shout out to Marion Meadows. He's just as smooth as that song is. Okay.
Yeah.
So Marion is that guy. He is that dude, and super beautiful inside as well. As outside, more so inside than the outside. I mean, of course, we all know he's stunning outside, but his soul is beautiful. So I had him on I got his saxophone parts and I put him on the other record. And after I listened to it, I was just like, Marion is nobody's afterthought. And he sounded like the afterthought, like, oh, put a sax on here to make it sound smooth jazz. And I didn't like that. And I was not going to have him go out like that. So what I did was I acapella'd all of his saxophone parts. And I was like, now what are we going to build around? And I just kept hearing, there's the that I took that. It only did it one time. And went to a whole bunch of other stuff. I said, ooh. And I took that and I just kept looping it. So I built Smooth Soul around Marion Meadows and that one part. And then I wrote the melodies and the lyrics and all that other stuff around it.
Well, look, to me, that's a perfect song. And, you know, and when I listen to it, I think, who would I have chosen to do sax? Marion Meadows.
Marion Meadows!
Because it fits so perfectly, you know?
He's a smooth, he is smooth soul.
Yeah.
So
Curtis is another comment for you.
Okay.
Nice, love it.
Thank you. My rebellious good song. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. You know, I want to comment on something too. Up to now, you know, watching your career, you remind me so much of Lisa Fisher. You know, and it was obviously it's difficult, especially when you become even a well-known background singer and you toured with so many people. You know, after all those years, to suddenly move up front, what were the challenges that you had when you decided to make that transition?
Lisa Fisher is the epitome of a singer. She is possibly every really good singer's favorite singer. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And her career. Those are big shoes. Like, that's a hell of a name to say. Thank you. Thank you. Jesus. Confidence. But I'm fine. I have found that confidence, and I don't know if you'll ever be there, like Paul Brown. And we know how old Paul is. Paul is a homie, by the way. He produced one of my songs for me. But I'm saying to say his age, I don't think you'll ever just be like, I'm super confident and I'm amazing and I'm the best. When you get there, when you get to that space, you stop caring. And that's when you become careless and it shows in your work. Yeah. But I've also come to find that it's like a muscle. The more you try, the more you step out, the more you build that confidence muscle. And that doesn't mean it gets easier. That doesn't mean you become the greatest. It just means you become a little bit more bold and fearless to just try whatever the hell your gut is telling you to do. And that's where I'm at. As I said, I'll never be my favorite singers, Patti LaBelle, Whitney Houston, or Tina Turner. But once I came to grips with this is what I am and this is what it's going to be. And if people like it outside of myself, because none of this has anything to do with me in the first place, I get terrified. I'm scared to even watch myself in a music video. Okay. Look at myself in a music video like, ooh, it sounds so good. Oh, no. So it's a muscle. You just got to keep building it. Just go, just try. And you get a six pack after a while.
You know, people have multiple lives. They have the life they live and the life they want to live. And you know, the transitions are where life really takes place.
Yes.
You know, those are the challenges, and moving on to a different life is not easy.
It's not easy at all. No. We may make it look seamless and like I say the spotlight has magical powers. It's like movie magic. Turn the spotlight on. Ta-da! And nothing has ever happened. And overnight, it looks like I showed up like this. No, we wake up every day. I'll speak for myself. I pray every morning when I wake up for the strength to do whatever I'm supposed to do. Because if I allow myself to get in the way, it'll never get done. I'll never think I'm good enough. Even though I may be confident, I still will never think I'm good enough. And then those thoughts start getting in the way, the doubt, the overthinking. It's an everyday conscious effort to go after my dream.
You know, what you're talking about is you recognize that you're always in the process of becoming. You're never complete. And that's what keeps moving you on. It's, you know, let me shift gears a little bit here and ask you a question about, you know, all the people you've worked with. If you could collaborate with any composer or a lyricist or a musician or another vocalist from any period, any century, any time, who would you choose that you'd like to be a fly on the wall or collaborate with?
Okay, who I'm gonna say is gonna sound really bad because of his history and how he died. But there was a time I thought musically, he's one of the and why can't I think of his name? He produced and it's just because you just asked me. It's not Phil. When I was a little girl, he used to produce a lot of big.
Phil Spector?
Yes, okay. Phil Spector. I hate to say that because we know how his life turned out, but musically and in his heyday before the world knew what we knew about him, oh my God, he could bring out the best in an artist and make them do songs that they possibly didn't know that their voices were meant for. And I just loved his productions. Michael Jackson, of course. And then Babyface. I am dying to work with Babyface.
Well, maybe he's listening in tonight.
Babyface, no. Hey, no. Over here. Let me pull it together.
You're such a... Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've always wanted him to produce a beautiful love song for me.
You know, you're such an independent person, and you know, in 2022, you signed with Inversion Records. And what made you sign with a label? What was going on then? Just after the pandemic.
Yeah, it was after the pandemic. Well, primarily because honesty. And they're called Intervision Records. I signed with Intervision Records because smooth jazz. It's not meant for vocalists unless you're already legendary like Mesa, Lindsay Webster. They play her a lot, or Sade, or Anita Baker. Unless you're already established, they're not really. I don't want to say they're not because I've been very. Let me stay focused. Stay on task before I go ahead of myself. Smooth jazz. Currently, and maybe for the past couple of years, weren't necessarily taking on vocalists or catering to vocalists. They may get very minimal airplay, instrumentalists only. And I was told, smooth jazz is not going to play you. You're a redheaded woman singing, black woman singing. They're not going to play you, Erin, but go ahead and go for it and sing your songs because people are going to love you live. And you know what I said? Okay. I have, again, the epitome of a Gemini, either extremely bold or very shy. And so I kind of, like I said, kicking and screaming and clawing. I didn't care. I didn't care what the people were saying. No, because again, if I was going to make the decision to go full throttle and not tour with all these people and get off my hamster wheel, I can't care what anybody else says because I need a paycheck. Something's got to work. Go hard or go home. And so I signed with EnVogue because as a vocalist, a black female with red hair who sings in smooth jazz, I needed the validity. And EnVogue, shout out to Adam Leibovitz, he was all about, well, Erin, I love you as you are. We may have to smooth a couple things out, but I want you to do you. And when you find somebody who gives you that grace to say, okay, and I know what you need. I know you need the validity because it was no, I don't lie. It was no, oh, please sign me. I was like, look, I need some validation. And they were like, we need a vocalist. I said, well, let's go.
There you go.
Here we go. As long as you aren't afraid to push a couple of little envelopes for smooth jazz, count me in. And that's where we are.
I work with a lot of Adam's artists. Adam has been really good to me.
Yeah.
I love to. Yeah, so I put a lot of his artists on my show because they're wonderful. They're really very talented people.
All of them.
We have look at the comment we have. Sir Charles from Truality Publishing. Great interview and great artist.
Thank you. I receive it. I appreciate it. Sir Charles. Thank you.
Sir Charles. Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, I'm here. You mentioned Blake Erin earlier. I'm here. The show we're doing tomorrow, I'm with Blake Erin, my label mate.
I love Blake. Blake was on my show also. Blake is just a major talent. What a great star. He's a great producer. Mm-hmm. He's a great artist, great person. Yes. One of the things I've been very fortunate. I've only had nice people on my show.
I think that's because you're a nice person. We like
to
say,
thank you.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. Boom.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're over time, but I want to play Everything to Me. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Everything to Me, and then we'll play that for everybody.
Awesome. Everything to Me. As you just said, I'm pretty all over the place and involved in everything that I do. But again, I don't do it alone. And if anybody says that they do it alone, I would not trust them. Don't trust them with nothing in your life. They're not your friend. But I don't do it. I don't do it alone. I have, like I said, I have some really wonderful people around me who I built. And when I say I built, I mean I prayed and asked for good-hearted people who to help me. And so it's just us. And I don't have management. I don't have a booking agent. I have none of the above. I just have people who fall in to help me do whatever I need to get done. That's it. So Everything to Me started off as me saying thank you to my husband, because my husband, he doesn't come from music, although I trust him with everything music now because it's become his world. It's become his life. But it started off with me being vulnerable, being okay with being vulnerable enough to say thank you and I appreciate you. Because again, the line in my song, True Songs, it says, I'm all that I am, because I am, but I need you. That doesn't diminish me at all from telling someone that I need them. And so after I started writing the song, it quickly, I get emotional every time I think about it because of the trajectory of watching my career evolve in front of my eyes. I immediately started thinking about my mom. I started thinking about my Uncle Woodrow. I started thinking about my daddy. Hey, daddy. My daddy probably watching this with my mom right now. My brothers and sisters. I started thinking about the people who come to my shows and buy tickets repeatedly and sell out all of my shows. I can't say I've had a show yet that had 2 people in it when people barely even knew my name. I don't know. I just started thinking about the promoters and the owners of clubs that let me play in their places. I started thinking about my band, anybody, and then I started thinking about God. And it became such a spiritual song. People started playing this on gospel radio because I never said the song doesn't say anything about, oh baby, I love you, or ooh, honey, no, come here, baby, you're everything. It literally just says you're everything to me, and anyone who's listening to it can it can fill in the blank to whomever their best friend or even themselves, who's everything. Pat yourself on the back for showing up for yourself. You
You
are
know,
everything you. And
it's
sometimes
fun.
that's enough.
It's funny in the way you're describing it. George Harrison wrote the song
Yeah.
something in the way she moves. Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra said that he sang it, and Frank Sinatra said that was the most beautiful love song ever written. That never says love. The word love is nowhere in it, but it's all about. It's the most beautiful love song ever written.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly. And that's how everything to me, it just I just kept writing, and it's just a thank you. It's literally a thank you to those who have helped me to get to where I am and where I'm going.
I love the song. So let's play everything to me. Okay.
Yeah. And now you're a part of that list, Mel.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Everything to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're everything to me. Do you know it? It's more than a notion. You do it for me. I stand on the shoulders of a one-man army. Your heart, it lights a fire in me. You give me more than I ever knew that I needed. Oh, you're everything to me. Oh, you're everything to me. Do you know it? They see me, but I see you. If the world only knew the charm of your power, all the magic you do beside me, you guide me, whispering words that dream. You light me, energize me. Now I'm a rose in full glow. You're everything to me. You're everything to me. You're everything to me. Do you know everything to me? A ship can't sail without wind. If there's no beginning, there's no end. So if all we have is this life, I thank God we got it right. When you are going to sleep at night, anticipating the sunrise, look into this dreamy eyes and tell you once again you're mine. You're everything to me. I'll say it over and over again. You're everything to me. Do you know it? Say I'm all that I am, but you're I need you. My king, my angel. You're everything. Everything. Do you know it? You're everything to me. Oh, you're everything to me. Do you know it?
Aaron, that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love it. You know, I wanted to play another song, but we're really running out of time. It's been an hour and a half, just about. This is the longest interview I've ever done. Yeah.
Oh wow! That's because you got the most talkative person on here.
But you're also one of the most interesting people I've ever had on the show, and I appreciate you giving me so much of your time and letting so many people. You have 187,000 people who listened in tonight.
Ooh,
Yeah,
hey
yeah,
everybody, hey y'all.
yeah. Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody, where they can purchase your music and also how they can reach you if they're interested in having you perform.
Absolutely. My website is erinstevensonmusic.com. My email, interested in having me perform, is info at erinstevensonmusic.com. My social media is Erin Stevenson Music. Everything is Erin Stevenson Music. Okay.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Say what? No. So if you're looking for me, Erin Stevenson Music, please follow me. It's me handling all of my social media. I'm sure you could tell by the verbiage when you go scroll through. It's like, oh, that's her. It's country. It's her. It's me. But by all means, I hope to see you somewhere. Please, please, please. I hope to see you somewhere.
Look,
And thank
Sir
you. Now,
Charles.
this is really cool.
Look, Sir Charles wrote more, more, more. He doesn't want it to stop. Well, Erin, I can't thank you enough. If you want to hang around for a few minutes after, we can talk for a minute or two. But
Sure.
I want to just thank you, and everybody is so fortunate to be able to tune in and listen to you tonight and hear what a wonderful person you are and the wonderful music that you perform for everybody. So I
Thank
want to have you back on next time you have more music coming out. Let me know.
Threat.
That's a threat. All right. Well, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. And if you ever come to the DC area, let me know so I can come check you out.
I promise. We're stuck together now, Mel.
I'm glad. I'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
Got it. Bye, everybody. Be good to
Take
each
care.
other and yourself.
Well, that was Erin Stevenson, a fabulous vocalist, producer, arranger, business person, and a consummate artist. So, she's just really wonderful. Next week, we have another great guest for you. Next week, we have East Bay Soul. We have the founder of East Bay Soul who will be on our show. I think you're going to really, really enjoy this. He also was one of the founders of Tower of Power. So, next week, be sure to tune in. And everybody have a wonderful week. And we'll see you all again next Thursday night. Okay? Good night, everybody. I'm Mel Albin. I'm the host. I'm the founder of the Jazz Confusion Power
My name
Hour.
is Dion Parson, and I'm honored to share my passion of music with you, our listening audience, through my cultural heritage.
Things can change for you too. If you want to be brand new, that is absolutely possible.